Good morning, good morning. You are tuning to the Sergent Experience show. It's a wonderful day in the Bronx, and today I decided not to have a guest today. I decided to speak on a few topics that's been on my mind. And topic, my show is based on mentorship and spiritual values. And by me being a mentor to someone, I also have to learn that I have to be a mentor to myself also. And I just want to read a little paragraph here. What is stated, a mentor is someone who encourages you and help you to figure out the right moves to make. They can be professional or a personal coach. Yeah, go on. And yourself can also be a mentor to your own self. Yeah. You have to be in the right frame of mind, setting realistic goals, and motivating yourself to be your own source of guidance and encouragement. Before I speak on this topic today, I had a wonderful encounter last night with God, and it was a wonderful event that was held at the Unity with Love Apostolic, which is located at 684 Britain Street in the Bronx. And week is a week of wonderful convention. And we had so much of a great turnout last night. The place was on fire. The Lord showed up and showed off. And I'm encouraging everyone else tonight to come out. So also Saturday and Sunday for church service. And we'll be also having a banquet at 6 p.m. Sunday evening after the service. You will be having wonderful gospel songs. And also tomorrow, on the 11th, I'll be ministering in gospel song at 245 South First Avenue in Mount Vernon, and that's at the Church of God in Mount Vernon. And the reason why I'm inviting you folks to come to these programs is it's good to know the Master for yourself. I had an event last night. I ran into an encounter while heading to ministries. I had a pan in my hand with church utensils, and I was asked by a fellow young man I see on the block. He asked me, "Where are you going with those things?" I said, "Well, I'm going to the ministry, and if the people need to be fed, they're going to be fed." He asked me, "Do we feed the people at church too?" I told him we feed people everywhere. Church, especially me, I feed people at church, in the street, at home, everywhere. As a man of God, that's my duty. And he began to say church is a mockery and everything else. And there was a bunch of other young men who came around and got in a conversation. And even though I was heading out to church, I had to stay there and listen. Because I was one of those guys too, not in that manner of the way they speak of the Almighty, but I was doing certain things. I was drinking and smoking and being in their company at times. And now I've changed my life over. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't stop and converse with them. And I told him the good thing about God is once you find God for yourself, then you don't have to worry about anyone else shoving God down your throat. Because there was a time when I was out here and I was a mess. And I tried everything else. I never tried hard drugs, but I tried alcohol, I tried smoking. And I tried and it didn't help. It got me in serious stress, trouble at times. And when I found out there was no one else I could call unto, I called unto God. And at that time it was great because I had a mentor in my life. And the mentor was my wife. And I remember when I was living in Virginia and after I turned everything away and turned my back on the things that I had to prevent myself in getting in some predicament that I cannot get out of. And a friend of mine told me, he said, you're going to go to New York and you're going to change your life over to God and you're going to meet a wonderful woman. And I had believed and I see it came to pass. And thank God for my mentor, Mistress Felice Sargent. She have changed my life from the old ways I live in. I remember when I came here and we was together for a while and she asked me, she said, I know you love to cook and your purpose is cooking because I tell her one day I would like to be cooking and can get the knowledge of passing it on to someone else. And she helped me to find a school and I was blessed to get in the school and now I'm a certified chef. So that was mentorship right there. And also I remember going to her graduation when I saw 3,000 students. And I said, I want to be one of those students one day. And I took a picture of me and her in her graduation gown right by the Jamaican flag, and I'll never forget that. And I said, I want to go back to school. And she always encourages me. She said, you can go back no matter how long it's been. But I was discouraged all the time by people who told me that if it's been so long, the credit's not going to come. And thank God I listened to my mentor and I went and I signed up. And coming June 26th, this be my third year. And I thank God for her. You know, sometimes you need a strong backbone and a strong mentor, and she have been my mentor. Because I've lived shocking up life, and those life never worked for me. I said the marriage life is the best thing, and that's what I did. Been so many years I've never done it before, but those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. And when I knew she was a good woman, I lived with the ladies years upon years and paid all kind of bills. But they never have the compassion to say, okay, put you on the lease. Because there was always something in someone's back of the mind, it can be at times. When I see she put me on the lease, both of us 50-50, and I said, God, and I always pray to God and say, God, give me a woman of your heart. And I'm not here today to tell my business, but I'm here today to tell the glory of God have done for me. So don't let no one tells you at any given time that there's no God. I remember the gentleman told me last night that many of us are fools. We are looking for a God to fall out the sky. I told him, I said, it is no secret that God has done. What he do for me, he can do for you. And I also told him I've heard many men say, women say, worse than he have said. And they are in ministry at the moment. And I told many people, I said the last place most of us end up before we leave here is in the church. When you are ready to go in wherever destination you are going. And I said, I remember when I saw the vision, my back was against the wall. And I said, God, what should I do now? And I can say, is 4 persons, 6 or 8, depends on your size, or 2 people will bring you in the house of God at that given time, on that given day. So don't be up in arms. One person told me that there's a lot of ministers robbing the churches, driving fancy cars and flying airplanes and all that stuff. People are people and things happen in every society. So I'm telling you this morning, do not use it as a way to have an excuse. Because you know, and I know, that society is corrupted. It's in government, it's in churches, it's in the school system, it's in the business entity, it's even the television broadcasting business too. So we're not here to point finger. And I'm not here to shove religion down anyone's throat. But I'm telling you, get to know the Savior for yourself. And once you encounter that experience, you won't have to battle with another human being to say what is what. And a matter of fact, the information is written down in the Holy Book. All that is been ministered and been said. It's in the book. But we have to go to places where that we can hear the word too. Just like you cannot get fully involved in horse racing if the person is not a horse track. You get a better relationship when you go to the football game to see what the game is about, the basketball game, any kind of games. So the house of God is the same thing where your fellowship have a good time, sing gospel songs, pray, spirits, lift off of people, and all that stuff. Some people don't believe in it, but not until it happened to you. I remember one time people used to come in church and my Apostle Michael Bennett would be praying for me. And the state that I was in, people used to run out the church and people didn't want to sit beside me. Who would want to sit beside someone when their tongue is coming out their mouth and going to the back of their head, their fingers is crying up like they finna pluck somebody eye, 4, 6, 7 people got to hold you because you're possessed by certain spirits that are put on you. But sometimes many of us out here have it going on and we don't even know until we are led in the house of God and we have no choice but to go in the house of God. So I'm telling you folks, I'm not telling you from someone else's story, someone else's walk. I'm telling you from my walk. I remember one time, I do minister songs sometime, and one time I couldn't even hit a lick a note singing. But after all my trials and tribulation, I remember one brother at my church, Brother Owen, said, Brother Drew, no matter what you're going through, just sing out for God. And I remember I was down and out one day and I was laying in the park, and for some reason my home is a great home. There can be no other home like the home I'm living in. Wonderful wife, wonderful family, and everything is going fine. And I was out there, mind messed up, and didn't want to even go home and lay down and relax. And I said, God, and I just start walking and singing. And I just sing a song, I say, shackled by a heavy burden, need a load of guilt and shame. Then the hands of Jesus touch me, and now I am no longer the same. No, he touched me. No, he touched me. And all the joy had flooded my soul. Yes, something happened, and now I know he touched me and made me whole. And then I felt a burden lifted off of me, right off of me, lift right off of me, and I know God is in control. And I just want to read something for you this morning again. And it's coming from this wonderful book, God Answers to Heal Your Deep Hurts. And what I'm going to read this morning, he said, choose to be a victor and not a victim. And he says, regardless of the deep hurt you may experience or will experience in the future, you will never have to be defeated or destroyed. God has given us the divine capability through the power of the Holy Ghost to face every trials, carry any burdens, overcome every obstacles, and face every challenge in his power and strength. God has not planned any defeat, and although you may be deeply hurt, you have a choice either to become a victim or a victor. As long as you allow self-bitterness and unforgiveness to remain in your spirit, you will remain a victim. I want to speak on Joseph. Joseph endured trial